Yeah, you're not. It's okay. You're not too clear, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was debating a Muslim, and
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Did he
well,
school you?
mm, it it wasn't really a conclusive
So
debate
what happened?
because, yeah, he asked me a question that I couldn't answer. It was
What happened?
well, he was trying to argue against Trinity, and I said that if you try to say that God cannot be incarnated, then you are limiting him. Therefore, he is not all powerful.
Mhm.
And he said that if that's the case, then can God lie? Then I said that no, it's not in his nature. Then
Exactly.
he said, then you're limiting him too. And I didn't have
Yes.
a
It's
clear
not, no,
answer.
no, he got you good because that was a stupid objection to say you're limiting him because you have to let
Yeah,
God tell you what he can and cannot do. But say, hold on. Where do you get that it's not in the nature of God to incarnate? It's not in the nature of God to lie, but where do you get that it's not in the nature of God to incarnate? Where does it say that in your book of porn or in the Bible? And how do you know that God cannot lie?
yeah, I couldn't
How do you
answer
know God cannot lie?
because he's he tries. I mean, he's honest. He tells the
So how do
truth.
you
And
know that God can lie but chooses not to? That's not an answer. I can choose to be honest and not lie,
yeah,
but it doesn't mean I don't have the ability to lie. So how do you know God cannot lie?
yeah, I don't know, to be honest.
Because you're both slow like him, you and that Muslim. You sure you're not kissing Blackstone together? Astaghfirullah. So even to say God cannot lie, that means you must have received revelation from God. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that. So you don't even know that. So then I would
Yeah,
say, hold on. How do you know that it's not in the nature of God to incarnate? And how do you know that it's not in the nature of God to lie? You have to have revelation, right?
yeah,
So where in the revelation does it say God cannot incarnate without ceasing to be God? Nowhere. Not even the Quran, because you have traditions that say Allah appears as a boy, a beardless youth with curly hair, right?
yeah,
And then Muhammad saw him. And then you have Islamic Muslim who claim to be Salafi that say actually Allah has sifat, characteristics like a foot, a shin, waist, two right hands, and eyes. They don't want to say body parts, but they'll say he really has hands, even though we don't know how, unlike anything in creation. Well, that's an embodied being who needs space to exist. So how do you
yeah,
know? You tell this guy I'm live. I'm still live, brother. I'll call you a little bit. How do you know that it is not in the nature of God to incarnate? And how do you know it's not in the nature of God to lie? Well, he's got to reveal that, right?
yeah,
Well, God has revealed he cannot lie, but God has revealed he can become man without ceasing to be God.
yeah.
Where do we get it from?
But
Because my Bible told me Jesus, the man, is God in the flesh. The man, Christ Jesus, God in the flesh. So right there, that's something within the nature of God. God can do it and be faithful to his nature without diminishing his nature, without altering his nature, because the Bible tells me. And it's that same Bible that tells me he cannot lie. But if you're a Muslim, show me where it says God cannot lie according to your source, and show me where it says God cannot incarnate, become a man without ceasing to be God. I don't care what you got to say. Show me from your revelation, even though I don't accept it. So I'm going to show you from mine. You ready?
yeah,
Where do I know God cannot lie? Because he said he can't. It's impossible. But where does the Quran say God cannot lie? According to the Quran, Allah is the best deceiver, even better than Shaitan.
yeah,
Here, Hebrews 6, 17, 18. Yeah, you put pineapple on pizza, D, I'm going to dox you. Crystals, Khathi. How are you, Khathi? Let me know. Give me an update. Show me how you are. Khathi. Ana Khunathi. Khunath. They say Khathi. We say Khathi. Anyway, Hebrews 6, 17, 18. When God wanted to further demonstrate to the heirs of the promise that his purpose doesn't change, he guaranteed it with a solemn pledge. So there are two things that don't change because it's impossible for God to lie. That's why I know God cannot lie. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
But if the Bible didn't tell me that, I couldn't tell you he cannot lie. I could only tell you he chooses not to lie. He did this so that we who have taken refuge in him can be encouraged to grasp the hope that is lying in front of us. So I'd say to Muslim, hey, I want to know something. Where does your Allah say he cannot lie? Give me the verses. Because your Quran says your Allah is the best deceiver and liar there is.
Yeah, khairul makirin.
Yeah, and then say, where does it say in your Quran Allah cannot incarnate, cannot become man without ceasing to be God? It doesn't say that, so stop lying. My Bible tells me God cannot lie, Hebrews 6, 17, 18. And my Bible says God can be man without ceasing to be God. So that's one of the things that do not go against his nature. See how easy that was, mister?
Yeah, that was my bad. That was
Did I help you now?
Yeah, that's a better answer. I will catch up with him.
All right, good. Now smash him and say, if you don't give me ayat from your Quran, I'll take the black stone and I'll make Greg Stafford lick it with pristine malaka. But any other questions?
Yeah, let me. Yeah, the one that is related to Daniel. I was watching a older video of yours, and there's a countdown in Daniel that leads to
the final
the
countdown.
Yeah, and I was
400.
I was wondering. I was wondering what's the Jewish response to that, because that's really
I've already
clear
showed you
about.
Jewish response. I've showed you that even the rabbis, like Rashi said, that the 434 years outlined in Daniel chapter 9 were to be fulfilled, consummated when Jerusalem was destroyed, temple destroyed by Titus, 70 AD, and then the rabbis admit that a Messiah had to be killed. So then they point to Agrippa being killed in 44 AD as that Messiah was killed. So they're admitting the time period for Daniel had to have ended, been accomplished, fulfilled when Jesus showed up. So they say, yeah, and the Messiah who was cut off, that was Agrippa, King Agrippa. But who's Agrippa? And then they say, and that's when Titus came and destroyed the temple and the city in fulfillment of Daniel. Yeah, they admit it. So they're admitting to you that the timeline coincides with Jesus coming and being killed. But they don't want to say Jesus. Here, I'll show it to you. So say, you're stuck, buddy. Rashi, you're a Rashi dude right here. Daniel, go read it. You'll see he even admits it. A huge embarrassment for rabbis. He admits it. The events of Daniel 9 were terminated, fulfilled, consummated when Jerusalem and the temple were destroyed 70 AD. But he realizes, and I sent it to you in private chat, that if he goes with that route, a Messiah had to be killed around that time. And guess who he says the Messiah was that was killed? Agrippa. Here he goes. After that, the anointed one will be cut off. Agrippa, the king of Judea, was ruling at the time of destruction, was slain. He was killed in 45 AD, and he has no important significance whatsoever. If you just go 11 years earlier, the one who did claim to be Messiah was killed, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And look what he admits. And the rest of Daniel says, when the Messiah is cut off, then the temple and the city will be destroyed. And he admits it. Titus, the Roman general, came up between 66 73 AD to destroy the city and temple, fulfilling Daniel 9. So where's the Messiah? They go, oh, it was Agrippa. What? Get a grip on yourself. Say what? Say Titus. And then I mentioned here, I even quote Michael Brown. I go, hold on. Rashi's interpretation that the anointed one who was to be cut off or killed refers to Herod Agrippa is rather ironic. since there's nothing of significance related to Agrippa's murder via poison, which took place in 44 AD. But just a few years earlier, a Jewish man came and he claimed to be Messiah, and he said he'd be cut off and killed to bring about the forgiveness of sins, which Daniel 9 says is part of the timetable. See their hatred for Jesus?
They cling on to every answer except Jesus.
Exactly. But you know what they're doing? Rejoice. They're admitting to you Daniel's timeline must have been fulfilled when Jesus showed up.
Yeah.
You guys got the link, right? Here it is. So there you go, brother. Shoot, say what? And I sent it to you in private chat. Our faith is indestructible.
Thank you.
Brother, our faith is indestructible because the God of the Bible is the true God. He is almighty. He is real. He's reality. You can't refute the truth. That's why our faith cannot be destroyed. The only people that lose faith are those who don't know how strong and irrefutable the evidence is for the faith. Where even your enemies admit, here, Rashi hated Christianity. He's a medieval rabbi who wrote against Christianity. When he admits the timeline of Daniel had to be fulfilled when Jesus showed up, and a Messiah had to be killed at that time, but he wants to say it's Agrippa, he's pretty much showing you the irrefutable evidence that Jesus is the Messiah.
Yeah. I mean, we at least confirmed the countdown. So
there you go, brother. So you made a good decision leaving Shia Islam or whatever Islam for Jesus. Remember, Islam means I slam. Islam, I slam Muhammad and Allah.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
I wasn't really a practicing Muslim before becoming a Christian. Yeah.
See, that's why you got to get a grip on yourselves. Now here, guys, Islam means I slam Allah and His Prophet. Right? Just want you to see. Okay, so here, Islam, I slam Allah and His Prophet. So Islam. By the way, Takbir, brother, Takbir. Michelob. Takbir. Budweiser. Takbir. Heineken. You get it? Take beer, take a beer. That's what they're telling you. Take beer. When they tell you take beer, that means here, take a beer. Take beer. Okay, Corona, but no virus. Take beer. Michelob. Take beer. Budweiser.
Sam, I had. Yeah. I mean, if you're tired, I can.
I'm tired, brother. I'm wired with the coffee. I don't need it. I got to do cardio.
I have two questions, but the first one is a bit more important, so I ask that first.
What's the first question? Brother,
yeah,
you speak so low. Hey, Ben, Nobi, you speak so low.
Yeah.
It's like, I have two questions. It almost sounds like you want to speak in a very sexy voice to get someone to marry you. This is not how you speak. I can't hear
I have to speak slow because my family is asleep. It's about 3 a.m. here.
Okay, it's okay. Be careful. 3 a.m. is the time for demonic activity. Be careful. Okay, so what's the first question?
Yeah, I wanted to know that, well, Jesus distinguishes between the laws that we have to practice.
That's all throughout the New Testament, brother.
Yeah. With the laws that are in the Old Testament. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure where to draw the line. Which laws, should we accept?
Brother, I'm trying to answer you, but you keep wanting to speak in a sultry voice, hoping a woman will fall in love with you. That's why you have 27 books of the New Testament given to the church, because in those 27 books of the New Testament given to the church, there you'll be told which parts of the law of Moses you still follow and which you've been freed from. But that's why you have 27 books of the New Testament written to Christians, telling them what laws you keep from the law of Moses and what new laws have come that are superior for you to follow. And that's where the church comes and tells you, oh, they got circumcised in the Old Testament, you get baptized. That's the answer, brother. Why do you think you have 27 books? Because they were bored one day and they decided to write because they didn't have TV?
Yeah, so the laws that are mentioned in the New Testament are the ones that we follow, and the ones that are not mentioned or refuted are the ones we don't follow, right?
If there's a commandment in the Old Testament, like get circumcised any day, but then the New Testament comes and says, Gentiles who are not ethnically Jews, you don't need to get circumcised because you get baptized instead. That means now you don't have to follow it. But in the Old Testament, if you're a Gentile and you wanted to worship the God of Israel, you had to get circumcised.
Yeah.
That's why you have 27 books, brother. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, brother.
Because
Did I help you, brother?
I was, yeah, that cleared it up because I was playing a video game and that
You play video
was a
game?
medieval, yeah.
You?
And
No. You
yeah,
spend your time just reading Bible and praying. You don't watch video games. You're all day praying, meditating, fasting, and reading Bible. You play video game? Haram, haram, brother, haram. Takbir. Mikkel up. Okay, so when you play the video game,
and
one of the genies
yeah,
come and say,
it was it was a medieval setting, and there was a priest in there talking about unconsecrated grounds. Yeah, there was a priest in the game that was talking about unconcentrated grounds that people should not be buried in them. And I
oh
think
yeah,
that's an Old
yeah,
Testament law.
that's the church's law.
Uh,
And since Christ has given authority to the church to tell the
yeah,
flock what is and isn't acceptable, then that's within the rights of the church to say, if you are a baptized member of the church, then your body needs to be buried in consecrated hollow ground. So yeah, that's the church teaching, because the church is the new people of God, the new Israel, and the church has been given the authority to explain the meaning of the Bible to those baptized into the church. That's what I just said.
yeah. So the church
Right?
has the authority to.
Exactly, because the Bible is
Yeah,
given to the church. 1 Timothy 3:15, the pillar foundation of the truth is in the church. So you have to find that church that has been preserved and has not been corrupted. Well, as I tell people, so I can be fair, Orthodox, Catholic Church, they have been preserved from the time of the apostles. Sadly, over certain issues, they split, but those issues are not so serious to then make one church false and the other true, even though one of them may have the more of the fullness.
yeah. I'm really drawn to Orthodoxy, but
Okay, well, then that's
I can't
between you
go
and the
to the
Lord.
church. Yeah,
That's between you
I
and the Lord,
hope
and be patient.
someday
God, brother, be
yeah.
patient. Say, Lord, I'm aching to go to the church. Please make a way. And just keep praying and praying. And then one day, maybe the priest in your video game will all of a sudden hold an Orthodox service and you can watch it in the video game.
I
Believe in
think it
miracles.
was a Catholic priest.
Okay, then he'll do Eastern Catholic Rite, which is virtually identical to the Orthodox. You can't tell them because they both have icons. You couldn't tell them apart. If I took you to
Yeah,
an Eastern Catholic Rite church and I took you to an Eastern Orthodox church, you will not know one is Catholic, one is, it's virtually identical, the icons and everything. So maybe
yeah.
that in the game, maybe if you play it long enough, you may reach a part where he goes, all right, now it's time for liturgy. Oh, wow, I'm in church now. Okay. Just wait
Yeah.
and be
Well,
patient. The Lord will make a way.
yeah. And to be honest, Orthodox churches are a bit intimidating because
They're
they
what?
are, especially they are intimidating because they are a bit ethnically based, right? So
Then, brother, I can't figure you out. There's a lot of Orthodox church. They are at like Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, Ukrainian Orthodox. We get it.
yeah,
So if now you're having a problem with the fact that some of the churches are divided along ethnic lines, but you're drawn to the Orthodox Church, ask the Spirit to show you a church that will be done in a language you can understand, Because I know in the West, you have Greek Orthodox churches that will have English liturgy.
Yeah, the ones in my country, they speak Armenian mostly. So.
Okay, then go to them and say, Xmuslim.
What
Xmuslim.
does that mean?
That's a greeting in Armenian. It's like saying, I don't know, hi, whatever. But anyway, say, hey, look, I
Uh,
don't speak Armenian. I'm a seeker. I want to learn the liturgy because the Spirit is drawing me to become Orthodox because I now love and worship the Trinity. Go talk to them. They'll help you, brother. Astaghfirullah. You know, you can't be
yeah.
sitting on the video game saying, hey, priest, can you help me understand? They're all Armenian. I don't speak it. That's not a game where he'll talk back to you and answer your questions in live
Yeah.
air. You got to get up your couch, get off your bed, jump on a bus or get a bicycle or drive, go visit and
I
tell
have a
them,
car.
okay, drive,
Yeah.
and say, please, brother, father, I made this trip to come visit you. Can you pay for my gas now?
It's just a bit risky, you know. One of
All
my
right.
friends,
Then sit and wait
one of my
for the
friends is,
game.
yeah,
Sit and wait for the game to do a miracle. You just keep praying, and maybe out of nowhere, a miracle happened, and the game will say, okay, time for Orthodox liturgy. It's in Armenian. Okay, I don't know how to answer you, brother.
yeah.
You're confused.
Just so your audience know how awful it is here. One of my friends went to a church for his university project. He's a photographer. He tried to take photos of a church, and then all of a sudden, a few days later, uh, some people called him actually on his phone and asked him some questions like, "Why did you go to the church?" or
Oh,
uh,
okay.
"Are you a
All right.
convert?" or "Are you an apostate?"
And that
Yeah,
means you have
that's a
to
bit
then leave
risky.
the country. Leave the country when God opens the door. And so then just pray and say, Lord,
Yeah,
you know my situation. I don't want to get myself harmed or my mother harmed. Then God knows your circumstance. He's patient with you. That's all I can tell you, brother. There's not much I can advise you.
yeah,
So that was it, because
yeah.
there are other people that are cursing you now. They want to say, go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one other question, and that's it. It's probably a dumb question, but I have to ask for my
Can
own
I give
sake.
you some answer?
Uh, yeah, if Satan knew Jesus, then why did he bother to tempt him?
If Satan knew Jesus, why did he what?
Why did he bother to tempt him in the first place?
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm going to answer it for you because it's so easy. I've done sessions and I've written articles on it. Come on, brother. Is Satan all knowing?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
So
so
now,
he didn't know?
no, see, brother, you're not patient. That's why you're going to stay single because you don't. If you try this with your wife where you don't let her finish, she's going to not let you sleep on the couch. She's going to put you in the car. Is Satan all knowing?
Yeah. No.
He's
No.
not all knowing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you got it? He's not all knowing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when Satan saw Jesus in glory before he became flesh, did he see Jesus hungry and tired and sleepy?
No, he didn't.
So now when he sees Jesus on earth in a flesh body, he sees him getting tired. He sees him hungry. He sees him weak. He sees him needing to sleep. He sees him stumbling over stones. First time he's seen Jesus go through this. Satan, who's not all knowing, he's looking at Jesus and say, wow, look how weak he is. You're telling me that he wouldn't assume, well, if now the Son of God is in weakness, the Son of God can get hungry. Son of God can get thirsty. Son of God gets tired. Son of God is struggling and stumbling. Son of God needs to sleep. That means he's just like all the humans. Maybe now the Son of God can also fail and sin.
Yeah, you're right. He didn't. He didn't see the full picture, the full plan. So
Exactly. All he knows is, wow, this Son of God, when I saw him in glory, radiant glory, luminescent glory, didn't sleep, didn't get tired, didn't fatigue. Now he has a human body. He's truly human. He's getting tired. He's fatiguing. He needs to rest. He stumbles over the stones. He's hungry. Wow, if he can be this weak, because he's become human, then maybe like Adam and Eve, he can also sin.
Yeah, you're right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. I've done session on an article on this as well, and
Yeah.
I'll give you the article on.
Yeah.
People ask me how.
Yeah.
Because people make Satan more than he is. Satan is still a creature who's limited, though smarter than us. Right?
Yeah. I try to watch your videos every day, and I listen to the Gospels every day when I'm driving. So
Amen.
I'm learning. Yeah.
And make sure you watch that priest in the video game. I'm sure he's going to help you. Look, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's the article where I go through this systematically and I explain it. Okay? So that help you now, brother?
I save it.
Okay.
Yeah. I saved that.
Lord bless, because the other people are
you,
waiting.
Sam.
Saying, man, go to sleep, man.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah.
All right,
Have
brother?
a good one, Sam. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Ask some good questions. Pray for him because he's in a situation where he may expose his family to potential harm if he goes to church.